Nicholas Chedville, a friend of mine from the college, he is going to be directing all future projects. So he is going to be the one that's going to be behind the camera, doing things like that. And I want to give a little shout out to Curse Mark Productions, which is his productions, and we're really excited about that. Now, the questions. Matthew Sproles asked, what was your inspiration for writing the book? Well, this is a very, very good question, and well, there really wasn't any inspiration. It was a really weird thing. I had something awful happen to a friend, and he ended up paralyzed from it, and it was just an awful series of events. And I got on the computer and I just vented. I just started typing. I didn't think about what I was doing. I was free typing. I had never done something like that before, but I did it, and I ended up coming up with the prologue of Lazarus about the void, purgatory. And that, it evolved into something more. I couldn't believe what I had written. I didn't read it until I was done. And I read through it, and I was like, wow, this is great. And to be honest, Lazarus was freestyled all the way through. Nothing was premeditated. Huron is premeditated, but Lazarus was not. Charles Marshall says, how in Jesus' frickin' name do you fight writer's block? Ooh, that is another really great question. Writer's block is something that I kind of see as an inner demon. You can let it take you over, or you can fight it and not let it take you over. And persistence is the main key, because people get uninspired, and that's when they stop writing. But I've learned that even if you're uninspired, keep writing. You're going to enjoy the heck out of something, but if you keep doing it, it's going to get kind of tiresome, but you keep doing it anyway because you have a passion for it deep down there somewhere, and you don't ever want to stop. And writer's block is the same way, and a lot of times if you lose passion for something, it'll come back if you keep with it, even if you feel down about it. And that's exactly what I do with writer's block. I feel, I don't want to type this chapter. I'm not excited about this chapter. It's not going to be action-packed like the end. I have to do all of this, but it's the end picture. I'm a rather safe than sorry, think ahead kind of guy, like in the end is what matters, the end result. So that's kind of how I fight writer's block. I just, even if I'm not inspired about it, I keep doing it. And then when I get my inspiration back, I go back and edit it and put in that passion. Jordan Gazelle says, what is the main source of conflict in the first book? The main source of conflict is Lazarus himself. It is a huge inner battle, and the book really portrays the evolution of a man who was a horrible person. And you kind of see the transformation throughout the book. Like, in the very beginning, he thinks that he's so justified, and that he didn't really do anything wrong, and that this is all so awful that it's happening to him. But by the end of the book, he accepts responsibility, and he's like, this was all my fault. So yeah, it's an inner battle. He is his own worst enemy, and he's the protagonist, but he is also the antagonist, which makes an interesting kind of thing, because he has this lie that he puts on, like, oh, this and that, and I'm not really that, and I'm not really that, and he forces himself to believe things that he wants to believe, and that's the protagonist. Then when he starts accepting responsibility, it's a completely different person, and that's the antagonist. Now, what's going to be so interesting about Huron is that the first book was a lot more about inner struggles and the inside and the mind, but Huron doesn't even touch the mind, really. You're still going to know what he thinks because it's first person, but it's more about the world around him and the other characters, which I'm really excited about.